Hello, this is Bobby with another episode of Breakthrough to Break Free. Very excited about this episode. You're going to hear from some fantastic individuals sharing some not only nuggets, but wisdom, real life wisdom of how they've not only examined and conquered limiting beliefs, but be able to give you tips on how you can conquer them. Because we all have them, right? Limiting beliefs. The word limit, belief. Well, we all have different beliefs from the time we're little kids and we grow up. And what I've just was reading in some journal is that by time we're 3, 4, 5 years old, our belief system and our value system has already been ingrained in us, right? And so for some of us, we come from families where we get a lot of encouragement, right? A lot of, hey, you can do it. And then for some of us, we come from some circumstances that are really not so positive, right? And I mean, it could get really bad, and God bless for those of you that have experienced that. We will have future episodes on dealing with some of that stuff and people that have overcome that. But for today, we understand limits, beliefs. What if there was no limits to the belief in yourself and the belief in you accomplishing everything that God has created for your destiny, your purpose, right? Because you were created on purpose for a purpose. And that is our whole concept as this team with Conscious Community Media and all the volunteers and the team members. We're committed for that. We're committed to help you achieve greatness. And there is greatness in you. And I know most of you already believe that, but there might be a few of you that somehow found us and you're not sure. And stick around, please. Connect with us down below. Click on the links, opt in, give us your email, follow us, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to stay connected to this community, because we are here for you, because we truly believe that we can transform, so we can transform ourselves individually, and then we can help transform the world and make it a better place. And we truly believe that. So with that being said, so I'm excited to get into the meat and potatoes of the show today. Our first speaker, and I'm just going to pass it on, and it's just going to go, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 incredible people that are going to share, and I'll come back up and wrap things up. But the first person is someone not only that's near and dear to me as a mentor and a friend, but someone that has helped corporations, multi-million-dollar corporations, save millions of dollars, right? As far as risk management and making sure that corporations stay in alignment and stay in agreement with state laws, regulations, and things like that. And so he's done major things, and he's just going to bring down some simplified concepts that we can all use and take away and apply on a day-to-day basis. So with that, Mr. Alex Padilla, thank you for being here. I'm going to pass this awesome show to you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Bobby, for that introduction. And I've known Mr. Bobby Mitchell for these 15, 20 years, and we're kind of like what they usually say, brothers from another mother. And, we were friends, we're business partners, and it's been a great time together, and it's only going to get better. So thanks again, Bobby. I'm glad and honored, really, to kick it off to talk about limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs are something that we need to grab a hold of. And all of us have had, and I'm sure we still continue to have, limiting beliefs. And until we understand what they are and deal with them, we're not going to continue to move forward in the right direction. All right. So a limiting belief, what is it? It's a thought, right? It's a thought that you've entertained. In our society, we're in a US culture where certain roles are expected of us. And they come from, the gender we are, our culture, our race, the environment that we live in. If you live in a big city or in rural areas, if you come from a wealthy family, there's all sorts of things that you had no control over. You were born into those particular situations. You were born the racial or ethnicity that you are. You had no choice in that. Because of that, unfortunately, things happen. You become like a little pawn in the game of the world. And so the thoughts come from things that we hear, things that we read, and what we see. If we're constantly looking at negative news, as an example, or negative situations in our life, well, then we're going to start looking at the world in a very negative way. But we're not a third party to this. We're involved closely. And whatever happens to you as you're growing up, like Bobby indicated, plays a big impact in your future. They could create fear. They could create barriers that you put up to protect yourself. But those same barriers that are placed for protection are preventing you from moving forward. They become a personal obstruction. Let me share with you my definition of a limiting belief. And I meant to say before I started, if you got something to write on, please get a pen, paper, whatever, crayon, because I'm positive that we're going to throw some things at you that are going to be important for you to look at. And again, continue to join us. This is going to be great. My definition of a limiting belief are thoughts which you have allowed to enter your mind and spirit, which you have accepted as truth, that prevent you from reaching levels of success. Okay, I'll say that again. Thoughts which you have allowed to enter your mind and spirit, which you have accepted as truth, that prevent you from reaching levels of success. So we've allowed those thoughts and we've accepted them as truth, right? You've accepted the fact that I live in this geographic area, so there's, I can't get out of it. I live here, there's no other place I can live in. Limiting belief, right? Another limiting belief could be, well, I'm a woman and the industry doesn't allow a woman to go into that field. Limiting belief. Let me share with you a huge limiting belief that I had to overcome. When I was 12 years old, my dad was doing pretty well. He owned a grocery store in New York where I grew up, and he wanted my sister and I to have a better education, a better life, right? So he told me, hey, where do you want to go to school? And I said, I want to go to military school. So, hey, cool, I can afford it, let's do it. So I applied to a military school, 1968, in the state of Virginia. 1968, state of Virginia. I had to send a photograph in with my application. 2 weeks later, and I really wish I had that letter because I'd have it framed as part of American history. They sent me a letter back and I remember exactly what it said. It said, thank you for applying to our school, but we cannot accept boys like you in our school at this time. Boys like you in our school at this time. And I said, wait a minute, what's wrong with me? Then I looked and I oh, okay. This is what they can't accept. I carry this around 12 years old. So what do? That destroyed my spirit, right? That was a limiting belief that if I would have held on to, I would have become angry. I would have been angry at the world, be trying to get into negative junk, right? But and that's how God has you. Here's what I said at a young age. I said, okay, good. I'm going to become really good at whatever I do. I'm going to become smart. I'm going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to show all you bloop, 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 that you guys are wrong. All right. So that fuels something in me to move forward. However, that limited belief is still in the back of my head. Okay. I had to deal with that. The fact that in this country, the color of your skin can prevent you from doing things because people put barriers up, right? You can't do this. You can't do that. So I had to grapple through that. That was a major limiting belief. And so how did I beat that? By having a desire to achieve beyond what that limiting belief said I couldn't do. So I wound up going to military school. I wound up going to college, et cetera, et cetera. And I've had a pretty successful career so far. And there's still more ahead. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So whatever you've been told in your childhood that has scarred you, deal with it, pull it out. You got to. That's how I did it. It was painful. I pulled it out, looked at it, and I said, no, this is not me. That's your problem. It's not my problem. I'm going forward. It's not easy. And one of the things to transform your thinking, right, to destroy these limiting beliefs is you have to start being honest with yourself. That's number one. Okay, so write that down. Be honest with yourself. Are you satisfied where you are today? Number two, write this down. What are 3 things that consume your thoughts daily? All right. Because again, your thoughts form actions, and actions form, your thoughts form beliefs that go into action or inaction. So what are the 3 things that consume your thought on a daily basis? Is it things of a positive nature, or is it things of fear? Is it, oh my God, I'm going to catch COVID. What am I going to do? Do I wear 2 masks? Do I get a vaccine? I'm not trying to make fun of the situation, because right now we're living in the most fierce society as ever. Everybody's scared of everybody. Don't touch me, blah, blah, blah. That is a limiting belief in and of itself. It's part of a reality, right? But how do we deal with it? See, that's how you get beyond that limiting beliefs. I don't have any money to start a business, but how can I develop contacts that could access and open doors to me to get to do what I got to do? Because there's things beyond that limitation that you've seen geographically, financially, whatever it is. Okay. And the next two things to write down in questions: what are some of the limiting beliefs that are preventing you from moving forward? And then where do you see yourself 3 years from now? Okay. So what's your vision of where you are today? So be honest with yourself. What are three things that consume your daily thought? What are some of the limiting beliefs that you have that are preventing you from moving forward? And where do you see yourself 3 years from now? So the limiting beliefs, remember this: whenever somebody tells you something, it's up to you to accept it or not accept it. Okay. If you accept it, then it becomes part of you. If I accept that I can't do something because of the color of my skin, well, then I accepted that, whether it's a truth or not, it becomes my reality. And that's where I have to live. But you don't have to live in those limiting beliefs. You don't have to live in the limiting belief that you're not smart enough to do something. Well, guess what? We're on an internet, on a Zoom, which is on the internet. You get any education, you can find out any topic or anything that you want right now for free. So what's stopping you from dropping that belief that you're not smart enough to do something, right? Learn about it. Go ahead, move forward, because again, the limiting beliefs are going to stop you. And at the end of the day, if you're honest with yourself, no one is stopping you other than yourself. You could blame, your parents, you could blame whomever, the job, society, you could blame the president of the United States, where a lot of people did. But anyway, you could do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's you. You are the one who's stopping your growth. So again, formulate what are those limiting beliefs and start dealing with them. And down the road, as we develop this whole series, I'm excited because we're going to do some plans of actions, how to implement certain things to get you past those limiting beliefs. But that's the first thing. Transform your thinking is very important. Transform your thinking away from what the world tells you who you are and how they've limited you to know. I don't have to accept that. Here's who I am. Here's what I want to do. And I'm heading, 100%, 100 miles an hour in that direction. Okay. So now I'm going to tag off to a friend of mine I've known for about 10 years. He lives in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm not going to tell him it's 64 degrees right now in sunny California, because that wouldn't be right. Okay. But anyway, anyway, I've respected Brian for a long time. He's somebody who's influenced me a lot because he's a studier. He takes knowledge and he applies it to his life. See, because that's a big difference. You could have knowledge and not apply it. Brian studies and applies things in his life, and is transforming his life to something tremendous. So I want to take off to Mr. Brian Bodenheimer right now. Take it away, Brian.
Thank you, Alex. I am so honored to be on this call with you and Bobby and the others who are going to get a chance to speak and who are on here. Thank you so much for all that. Like I said, it's an honor. Now, Bobby and Alex have touched on limiting beliefs, and that's our theme right now. And once you figure out what your limiting beliefs are, you have to make a decision if those are going to be things that you have control over and focus on those. If you don't have control over them, or maybe you do have control over them, but it is what it is and you're not really committed. So what I want to talk about and share with you guys is something we're going to get more in depth with later on, but we have something that's called the 5 levels of commitment. How committed are you to changing your life and offsetting those limiting beliefs and making the change for the positive? And they're pretty simple. If you want to write these down, I encourage you to at least get the concepts if you don't completely understand everything. So first level of commitment, we're going to start right here. First level of commitment is I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It is what it is. I have no desire to change it. Well, I'll challenge you on that because I think everybody cares. And if you don't believe me, I had been known to ask my wife where she wants to go eat. And she goes, I don't care. And I said, okay, we're going to go to the worst place I can think of, the cheapest place I can think of. And that place in Indiana is called White Castle. And she goes, the heck we are going somewhere else. She cares. We all care. What we put in our body, what we put in our minds, what we put ourselves physically, we all care. Second level of commitment is I wish, I hope. Now, in some ways, I think that is worse than I don't care. If it happens, it happens, but it is what it is. And I think that's a very weak reasoning. It takes your power away. And I talk to people all the time. Don't ever say it is what it is if it's something that you can't control. If it's something you can't control, it is what it is. But I still don't like that. I think you have more power than that. Third level is I'll try. Um, Anybody who's like Star Wars, like I do, they know who Yoda is, and he will rebuke Luke Skywalker and says, "Don't do it. Don't do it. There is no try." And what I'll do is I'll take a pen out, guys, and I'll hold it out if I'm in front of an audience, and I'll hold out a pen, and I'll pick someone from the audience. I said, "Try to take this pen." And if they reach for it, I pull it back and I say, "You're committing." And I'll do that until they just stop trying. They stop trying to get it, because it takes a level of commitment to actually reach out and grab it. Fourth level is I am committed unless something big comes along. You will give it an attempt. You will do what you can until it's not worth it. Something better comes along. Something more entertaining comes along. Something easier comes along. It's an attempt, but it's not really commitment. And then the fifth and final one, and this is where the magic happens. This is getting out of your comfort zone. These are people who will run through walls to get what they want, who are obsessed with getting to where they want to be, are really, truly engaged with getting to their goals. And these are the people who are committed no matter what. Is there anything that you really, really wanted, and no matter what you did, no matter what obstacles are in the way, whatever limiting beliefs in the way, you got rid of those limiting beliefs, and you accomplished it just out of sheer will and hard work. And I got to do this. I have to do this. Those are the people who are committed no matter what. Now, like I said, we're going to go over this some more, but think about your limiting beliefs and where you are on the scale of 5, and decide if it's 1 or 2. You got to decide if it's a limiting belief or it's just I'm just not that willing to do it. So again, thank you, Alex and Bobby, for bringing me on. And the next person I'd like to pass this on to is a friend of mine who lives in San Diego. He is actually from the Midwest, and he's really coming along and developing himself with personal development. He wakes up every day, he says, "I'm going to greet this day with love in my heart." And he has nuggets that he wants to share with us. So with that, everybody, Mr. Ryan Collar.
Brian, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, Conscious Comedian Media, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube and other social media communities. It's the Daily Nugget Show, hosted by me, Ryan Collar. Today is Wednesday, February 18th, 2021, coming to you live here in America's finest city, beautiful San Diego, California. I'm so excited to be with you today, introducing my new show, premiering our second episode, Limiting Beliefs and Breakthrough to Break Free, and sharing with you a daily nugget. For those of you who are new to my show or who have subscribed to my new YouTube channel, the purpose of my daily nugget show is to provide you, the audience, with a 2 to 3 minute live video segment to inspire, share words of encouragement, provide inspirational content, and bring value to other entrepreneurs, like-minded individuals, and everyday people who are trying to navigate their lives through these challenging and changing times that we are all facing. Each show's daily nugget content will come from a variety of different authors, books, motivational quotes, and will cover a wide range of topics to help my listeners in business, personal development, self-help, mental health, fitness, and other areas of our lives that we all struggle with. For today's daily nugget, I have chosen some inspiring content from best-selling author Napoleon Hill in his 1925 book, The Laws of Success. And Napoleon Hill writes, no man or woman has a chance to enjoy permanent success until he begins to look in a mirror for the real cause of all his mistakes. This quote and book resonated with me when I had first read it because it makes us examine and look within ourselves, be honest with ourselves to see what the root cause of our failures, our limiting beliefs, and what some of our failures have done for our lives. And for those of us who are looking to improve one's life and to see the change in the world that we wish to see, we must first look into the mirror's reflection and do a real self-examination. Napoleon Hill, for those of you who may not be familiar with his work or his books, was a self-help author during the early 1920s and 1930s and became famous for his best-known book, Think and Grow Rich, published in 1937, which promoted principles to achieve success. Like my show, my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Instagram account, Ryan Pop Your Collar, and tell me what you think about in the comment section below. I'll see all of you tomorrow with another Daily Nugget. Stay safe, healthy, dream big, earn this life. And let me introduce my next guest, Mr. Duane Moy. And everyone have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Ryan. It's Duane Moy here, coming to you live from the city of Sacramento within the state of California. And it's good to be here, yet I'm humble before you to share with you one of my limiting beliefs, limiting me, is to being overwhelmed with priorities. Life can get in the way sometimes, and it could even lead to depression. And I've had that experience. But I come to the conclusion to within my mind, to come to one of the successful keys, such as a tactic of to tackle one of the smaller principles, and then lead up to the momentum of oh my goodness, lead up to the momentum of taking care of the big ones. And I'm using and that's a key. So where do I see my success? Where do I see myself from now? Using multiple sources, inspiring others along the way to promote local businesses as well as worldwide businesses. And I'll leave you with this. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. And that's what we do here at Conscious Community Media. Don't let your circumstances define you. Back to you, Bobby Mitchell.
Well, hey, Duane, thank you for, your vulnerability, and sharing, I mean, everybody, Ryan, I love that popping collar. We're very, very excited about his Daily Nugget show and just the wisdom and the references of Napoleon Hill and his daily commitment to become the best version of himself. And that is what it's all about here. And each of these gentlemen, and obviously Brian, Sharon, I mean, I specifically took incredible notes about the levels of commitment. And because I was one of those people that, my wife was one of the first people to say, you just don't care. And, and from that aspect to no matter what a contrast that is. And I think we all could relate to that. And what powerful information. And as Ryan Collar says, that's nuggets, right? There's some nuggets there. And then what a great way to kick this whole day off about limiting beliefs when Alex Padilla just kind of laid out a framework of just accepting and looking in the mirror and just figuring out and evaluating yourself and just really saying no more, no longer. And today, there's no way we can solve years and years of programming, as Alex has shared, and everybody's kind of touched on this thing of limiting beliefs. So today's episode is just to kind of put a spotlight on limiting beliefs. And we will be doing more episodes, more shows, some bonus material, some content, workbooks, everything that you could imagine, because with limiting beliefs is one of the key things. There's so many, but it's a limit to beliefs. So believing in something and having a limitation hinders everything as our potential, right? Everything that we can do as far as our calling. And whatever you believe, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, no matter what they are, you were created, right? We were created and we've been given this thing called gift of life, right? That we were able to wake up today, and we thank you for making time today to be on this and watching a few minutes with us and spending your time with us. And however you found us, whoever referred you, please thank them. And we thank you for making time. And make sure that you subscribe, make sure you link up with us, make sure you connect with us. Each of us, all of our links are in the video below. So you can connect. If somebody resonated with you and whoever it is, just connect with them and stay connected to our community, conscious community, a conscious community of leaders that are doing their very best to help transform the world to make it a better and stronger place that's more vibrant, that's more exciting, that's more passionate, because we truly believe that you were created for greatness. So with that, thank you for joining us today. I want to thank Alex. I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Ryan. I want to thank Mr. Duane Moy. I want to thank all of you. And I know Champ is in the audience. I know Huber's in the audience, and all of you that are plugging in and watching this. We want to thank you for your participation, and we will see you again with another episode of Breakthrough to Break Free. With that, guys, God bless and take care. Bye-bye.